vitality, and the quest for well-being. Now let's face it, who hasn't wished for a magical fountain where we could bat away the signs of aging and emerge rejuvenate, stronger and bursting with energy? If only it were that easy, no? Tonight, we will introduce you to CELERGEN, what many are calling the Swiss fountain of youth. This remarkable product is set to transform the way we think about aging. Remember, it's perfectly okay to age gracefully. However, it's also fantastic to consider feeling and looking 10 years younger, making our friends curious and our secrets when they see us. So without further ado, let's jump in and discover CELERGEN can empower us on our journey to a more youthful and vibrant life. Our speaker this evening is a health transformation maestro who is a subject matter expert in the science of CELERGEN Swiss marine cellular regeneration. In addition, he is also a senior trainer in 3CM meridian therapy. With his wellness knowledge and experience, he has empowered many individuals the world over to embrace unparalleled well-being. In this talk, he will share how CELERGEN is able to help you slow down aging, safeguard against premature aging, and prevent degenerated illness. Let us put our hands together to welcome my friend and my mentor, Platinum Director, who a kid from Avita, Singapore. Yeah.
Thank you, Joel. And because it's still Chinese New Year, I would like to wish each and everybody happy Chinese New Year, 恭喜发财. Okay, for those who are meeting me for the first time, welcome. I'm from sunny little Singapore. And of course, it's right in the middle of the Chinese New Year season. I guess before we start, I'd like to kind of meet up some of you because I know I've seen some of your names. So yeah, feel free to unmute. We're gonna make it a pretty informal session. As so I see people like yeah, you can just type in the chat group too as to what you would like. And maybe let's start with Marjoy. Hi, Marjoy. Are you able to unmute and say hello?
Hello po.
Oh, hello.
And Marjoy, where are you from? I know you're from Philippines. Which part of Philippines are you from?
I'm from Taguig.
Oh,
Taguig.
Tagiga. That's okay.
But I'm
That's a
currently in Cubao.
Okay. So, Marjoy, what would you like to find out from me? I know you're quite familiar a little bit with CELERGEN, but what would you like to learn about from tonight? Or maybe there's some additional thing you would like to learn. Then I will see whether during the course of the talk I could actually, help you discover some of the things. Anything, Marjoy, that you would love to find out about?
I think I hope I can learn more about how CELERGEN really help a lot of people, especially those who are currently have special needs already.
Okay, sure. Okay, I mean, as we get along, we'll keep it informal. There are a lot of people down here who have quite ample experiences, and towards the end, we will have a Q&A. Of course, that's where we can also, feel free to ask your questions, and we'll attempt to answer as many of them as possible. Okay, thank you, Marjoy. Okay, and I see a lot of Cambodian friends here. Yeah, let's get started. Okay, let me just share my screen and then we can all get started. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, can I see the screen? Okay, just let me know when we can see the screen, okay? Then we'll get going on that. All
Yes,
right.
yes.
Okay,
Can
good.
go ahead.
All right. Now, for those who have not met me, that is actually my mom. Okay, yeah, the one who said that Karen was actually the name of my late mom. And that was actually back in 2016. Okay, and that was back my boy was still pretty small. You can see the cute little boy down there. Now, what happened is 2016, I happened to be bringing my mom on a holiday. And just about that time, I started noticing that, of course, like what people say, signs of aging, like, she was kind of slowing down, and you can actually see she was like getting really tired even during our trip and so forth. So, and I don't stay with my mom. For those people who, yeah, first time meeting me, although I was born Malaysian, but actually work in Singapore. But whenever I have a chance, I would love to bring my mom to travels on holiday because she loved traveling. So during that trip, it was quite visible that she was kind of like, showing obvious signs of aging. And of course, for many of us, we thought that, okay, aging is just part and parcel of the natural process, right, of getting older as you age. But of course, as a son and living so quite far away from him, there's always that concern that, what would she do if she's incapable of helping herself and so forth, right? And hence, fortunately, about 7 or 8 years ago, I would say, I was actually introduced to this, Swiss cellular therapy called CELERGEN. Now, myself, I am an engineer by training. So as typically like what all engineers do, like, we do our what we call due diligence. Okay. So, I went to check up on, it, with internet and so forth. I Google whatever I could read about it and so forth. And of course, it does help, the fact that it came from Switzerland. So then I was kind of ready to do what we call the big experiment. So, as typical engineers, we say, okay, just testing on one subject is not good enough. So besides testing on myself and so forth, I actually send this product back to my mom. And lo and behold, I mean, this is 2018, 2 years later, right? What I discovered was that, CELERGEN gave her back so much energy and vitality. She was able to maintain, her independence. She able to drive herself, and still travel and walk much better. And that was me bringing her actually on a trip together with the Avita family to Japan. Okay, and that was her. She really enjoyed the trip very much. And actually, since we actually started our annual trips to Japan, to different countries back then, right? I've always made it a point to kind of bring her. And I was so glad, right? Because she was able to walk, she was able to enjoy herself. And that was when I discovered it's not really about how long somebody live. Of course, all of us will age. More important is, towards it is like, what's the quality of life, you live, right? And that was very fortunate. And that was actually my last trip with her, 2023. Although she had some self-doubts of whether she would be able, I said, Mom, you could still walk, although a little bit slower, but with a walking stick, you could. And I was very fortunate to be able to bring her to Spain, also together with our Vita family. And that was just after COVID. We resumed our trip again. And indeed, it was very good for her because she had a chance to reconnect with everybody in our Vita family. Okay. And that was my mom in 2024, her celebrating her 88th birthday with her friends. And all the friends always envy her, right? At the age, she was still independent. She could still, move around with full mobility. And that was when I truly, appreciate this saying that, the best gift that we really, really can give all our loved ones is really good health, right? I mean, all of us would, go on eventually, but it's important that towards, the last phase of life that, they really enjoy, if you have a chance, I think as a child, I'm very fortunate that I feel that, CELERGEN has allowed me to be able to give my mom, good health, all the way to, the end of her life. Okay. So that was really a very big lesson for me. And I really wish for each and every one of you, right, who's listening down here to remember this, right? Really the best gift that you can, give it to your close one behind you is really good health. Okay. Now, today, if you're calling in here and if you think that, CELERGEN is going to turn you back into a baby and so on, okay, or maybe turn you into a Miss Universe, or maybe possibly a Tom Cruise, then meh, okay, I would say that, tonight's call, you can probably lock off right now and not join because no, CELERGEN is not going to turn you into, one of these just by taking it, okay. But, okay, if, right, You're looking to feel 10 years younger. You're looking to re-energize yourself with full vitality. You know, radiant skin, yeah, erase some of those wrinkles. And more important, okay, if you emotionally feel good, then yes, I would say you have come to the right place. Okay. Yes, that's actually one of my very good friend who's actually a doctor, and you can actually see the changes in her in a short span of between 3 to 4 years. Okay, and this is really what she was feeling, even though she was a doctor, but through the help of CELERGEN, she was able to actually, revive herself and re-energize herself. Okay, and for those friends who are in Singapore, if you are tomorrow you're attending the Spring Fest, well, make sure you catch yourself, take a photo with Dr. Nelly down there. Okay, she's always more than willing to share her stories with you. Okay, let me introduce you to CELERGEN. Yeah.
No
Okay.
video.
There's no video. Oh, is it? Okay. Hang on, Okay, let me try for a while. I think there's some technicals on that. All right, let me just go. Yeah, the sound came out, the video decided to stop. Okay. All right, thank you, CELERGEN. Okay, so now, what are the thing I want you all to remember? See that little picture down there? That is actually a cell. Okay, the cell is the most basic fundamental building block of each and every one of us. And the wonderful thing of us is we ourselves are made of more than 10 trillion cells. Okay, so today, if there's something you want to take away from CELERGEN, just remember CELERGEN has everything to do with cells. Okay, now there's really, if you think about it, right, there's only really one disease, right, in this world, and that is when some cells in your body is not functioning properly. Okay, take for example, if the liver cells, for some reason, are deficient or unhealthy, then it will lead to liver-related problems, right? Could be all sort of liver disease and so forth. And likewise, right, if your heart cells are not too healthy, a combination of them not healthy, it could lead to all sorts of heart-related issues. So fundamentally, if you kind of look at it, because all of us are built up of cells, typically all diseases really come down to certain cells in your body which is not working properly. And this is where CELERGEN come in. Always remember, CELERGEN works right at that most basic cellular level. Okay, and so what does CELERGEN really do? Okay, Now, very important, our cells day by day, because our lifestyle, work, whatever it is, right, are always, subjected to what we call free radicals, right? Free radicals are all around us, whether it's within our body or in the surrounding us. First, Celergen has the ability to protect our cells. Okay, so it acts as a protector, it neutralizes the free radicals that are there. So it plays a very important part in protecting our cells. Now, subsequently, very important, Celergen itself is actually very high quality cellular nutrient. And why is that important? Because when you can give very good food to your cells, right? This is when it's able to help your cells re-repair themselves. Okay, so imagine if your cells is like a house over time, is getting a bit worn down, and somebody is able to give you very good material to repair your house. Okay, very good bricks and so forth. And now you have the ability to go to your house, take some of the bricks or something that's not working very well, throw it away, and then replace it with very good brick. And that's really what Celergen does, right? The cellular nutrient is so fine that it actually enters straight through the body, and your cells can use it to repair that itself. Now, when your damaged cells are able to repair themselves and become healthier, now more important, because our cells have a certain period of time, right? After that, they actually re-replicate themselves and make new healthy cells again. Now, when your cells are able to be repaired and become healthier, now it makes sense, right? Then the health, whatever cell that's going to be re-replicated, even regenerated, is going to be healthy because it's made from healthier cells. And this is when you're able to reverse a fair bit of the damages that your body has encountered. Now, of course, these are all, the facts and so forth. You will kind of ask me and say that, okay, now that you have tell me all these good things about Celergen, so does Celergen really work? Okay, so let's take a look at this picture. Okay, now this picture is actually taken in the Singapore office way back in 2013, okay? So there's Lady B down there, who's actually, we call her Mrs. Yo. And the lady on your left in pink color is a lady named Chun Gyok. Okay. Now, before I continue on with my story, I would like you all to just type in the chat group. Okay, just type in the chat group, take a guess of the age of the lady in A and the lady in B. Okay. What's their age like? Okay, I'll give you a bit of time. I'll look at the chat group and then see what are you guys typing down there. Okay, just put Lady A, what's the age, and then Lady B, what's the age. Okay, can anybody, I'll give you 1 quick minute. Go to your chat group, just enter in what you take a guess at. What is the age of these two ladies? Can I have some numbers in them? Let's have some fun.
50.
Yeah, you can also just unmute yourself and shout it out. Yeah. Yeah, maybe Sivan, which are your friends here? Yeah, maybe you can actually get them to take a guess. All right. Do I see any numbers coming up? All right. Wow. Okay. Charlene say Lady A looks like 60, Lady B looks be like 65. Ah, interesting. Okay. Oh, Marjoy say A looks 50, B looks 62. Okay. Close guess out that. All right. Okay. I shall unveil all. Okay. Now, so what happened was that, Auntie Yo actually met the lady in B on the street, and both of them kind of couldn't recognize each other. And this was the reason why. Okay. Now, those who guess that Lady A, Lady A is actually 57 years old at that time. And yeah, close enough. Some of you were guessing Mrs. Yeo was the exact opposite. Mrs. Yeo was 75 years old, okay? No. So Chun Gyok, who's the lady in pink, couldn't believe her eye because she thought, how come Mrs. Yeo actually looked younger than me? And then Mrs. Yeo, couldn't believe why her friend was like kind of looking a little bit old. So that's when, she was asking Mrs. Yeo, what did she do to preserve her looks and her vitality. And of course, the next day they agreed to meet in the Avita office. And that's when Mrs. Yeo, who then has been taking Celergen since day one when it was launched, right? Introduced Celergen to Chun Gyok. And guess what? Chun Gyok gets started on Celergen. Okay, and this is actually Chungyok 4 months later. You can actually see the very obvious transformation, between the two of them. Okay. Now, some of you may be wondering, okay, at that time they started taking. So for somebody who takes Celagen, how would they be looking like? Let's flash through because that picture was taken in 2013. Let's take a look at the chronicles of Mrs. Yo. We call her Auntie Yo. Okay, so this was Auntie Yo in 2022. I fast forward a little bit. You can see that actually she has not changed that much. Okay, that's her in 2023. Wow, 2024. And that was last year, I was at the award dinner. There was me taking the photo with Auntie Yo. And guess what? Just about a week ago, was when Chinese New Year, we had an office. And yes, that's actually Auntie Yo in February 2026. And guess what? She's already 87 years old. Okay. So great. Now, all of us, when we come across a good thing, right, typically what would we do, right? So for Chun Gyok, when she first experienced CELERGEN and she actually looked much younger and feel more energetic, the first person she thought about was actually her mom. And yes, let me show you this. Is actually Chun Gyok's, but at that time when she started taking CELERGEN, her mom was 88 years old. Okay, and of course, like filial children, when we encounter this, we would typically think of our first loved one. So Chun Gyok started her mom on CELERGEN, and guess what? This is just 2 months later, right? 2 months later, that's how Auntie looked like. At 88 years old, she started looking, more vibrant. You can see her skin, her face is clearing up. And just guess what? Just 2 short years later, that is the same lady, same pair of spectacles, but look at the vibrancy, the energy, and the vitality of that person at 90 years old. Now, why am I so passionate about this photo? Because this was the photo that actually convinced me to give to my mom. Okay, when I first saw this, I said, wow, if you can transform this lady into this, I also want my mom to feel the same vibrancy, energy, and vitality. And that's why, I've always shared this particular photo because it was what inspired me or what motivated me to actually give CELERGEN to my mom. Now, you all might ask, okay, for the older folks, yeah, they do transfer. So what about somebody who's a little bit younger and they started taking CELERGEN? So, okay, and of course, that's the regenerative power of Swiss CELERGEN. So, let me introduce you to, yes, this is actually my partner in Cambodia, Daphne. Some of you may recognize her features because she looks so different now. Okay. So, I still remember when the first time Daphne came to the office, and then, when she chanced upon CELERGEN and we told her CELERGEN is for anti-aging, said, I also want to try. And this was just her a short, about short 1.5 months later. That was how she started looking. And that was actually what also inspired Daphne to bring CELERGEN to the people of Cambodia, right? Because she felt good. And, people who noticed her in Cambodia was actually commenting, hey, Daphne, what were you doing to yourself? Do you do something? And she said, yeah, I'm actually taking this thing called CELERGEN. And look, 2 years later, that's actually Daphne in 2021. And I'm just going to show her latest photo. See, January 2026, we were actually at we were in Malaysia, attending, one of our Avatar event, right? And you all can see her because I think she's on somewhere on the screen right now. You can actually compare her looks and big change. And this is actually, Daphne's Swiss fountain of youth. Okay, don't you think she's actually growing younger? And her age just seems to be frozen down there. Okay. Now, why is CELERGEN so effective? Right? Now, first and foremost is what we call that, it's a very synergistic blended formulation. Now, first it starts with, if you are a chef and you want to make a very good dish, right? The first thing you must start off is very, very good ingredients. And indeed, CELERGEN is actually made from this very proprietary ingredient. It's extracted from what we call the milk, or some say it's the sperm of deep sea wild salmon or herrings, right? And because it's extracted from fish, becomes it's very safe. So those three items that you see down there are very proprietary to the content of CELERGEN. Now, it's not just good enough to have very good ingredients, right? Of course, you can give the best ingredients and put a few chefs together. You realize that, the chef must have the ability to take all these ingredients and also be able to blend them, okay, combine them, put just the right amount of salt, the right amount of whatever it is to make the best dishes. And similarly, in the CELERGEN world, our chefs are in Switzerland. And everybody know that the Swiss are very, very good at in the area of supplementation. So that's why when it's produced in Switzerland, we are rest assured. Now, so what happened in Switzerland, they will synergistically blend and test out the formulation, so you are assured number one is the ingredients inside CELERGEN, are properly and in the right proportion blended to provide the maximum effect. Okay, so that's the first pointer of why CELERGEN is so effective. Okay, now the second thing to CELERGEN is this thing, right? It's something called co-extraction. Now, all these cellular nutrients inside CELERGEN is very sensitive to heat, right? Because they are very molecular proteins, right? So in order to preserve the efficacy of this protein, right? That's why we have to do it in Switzerland, because in Switzerland, they have a very proprietary process that's able to done at very low temperature so that all these DNA of the fish are still preserved. And so for those of you who have seen CELERGEN before or taken CELERGEN before, it's actually a liquid that's encapsulated, and this liquid inside is actually live fish DNA, and this is actually one of the key reasons of why CELERGEN is so effective, right? For many of us, if you are just doing maintenance, all we need is basically just one capsule a day, all right? Of course, now the number three reason of why CELERGEN is so effective is because of the way it's constructed. It's fully digestible. Now, CELERGEN is never meant to be digested in the stomach. The way CELERGEN is constructed or built is, it's actually protected, by the skin itself to protect against the stomach acid. So it's not meant to be digested in the stomach acid. Now, once it gets into the small intestine, right? That's where it disperses. And whatever is inside it, right, is you can think about it as they are pre-digested. They will get right straight through the small intestine into the bloodstream. And then your body is very smart, right? When it realizes that, wow, you are just giving me very, very good ingredient. Now, I'm going to decide which part of the body will need it the most. Then I will actually send CELERGEN over there and let the cells use them. And that's why the repair effect of CELERGEN or the regenerative effect of CELERGEN is so wonderful, right? Because, it actually makes use of the body's intelligence to be able to, get these cells to where they should go. Okay, so these are really some three key pointers of why CELERGEN is so effective. Now, really, because of this, I'm very thankful that, in April 2024, yeah, we had a chance to actually soft launch and introduce CELERGEN to the people in Cambodia. And that was actually me on stage giving a talk on CELERGEN. It was a rather shorter talk, not as long as probably today. And that was actually our display of CELERGEN. I'm so grateful to be able to visit that wonderful country. And then this was actually reported in the Khmer Times. Yes, we were actually interviewed by reporters. They actually reported on the event. We invited them to the event, and along with a lot of guests and a number of Cambodians back then who already was experiencing the goodness of CELERGEN. And then we were able to share their stories. Okay. So without further ado, because we had a chance to launch into Cambodia and had ability to impact many people, I'm just going to get some of my, I've invited some of the guests here today to actually share on their little experiences. Okay. And one of them is none other than my good friend Lang Sok. Okay, I'm going to get them to bring her on, and together with myself, and Lang Sok, I'm going to ask Lang Sok to share the story of her grandma's magic pills. Lang Sok, Are you on?
Yes, Kit, thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. So, I would like to share the story of my grandma. So, my grandma had like severe diabetes like for more than 10 years. And she feels so exhausted and she feel like not well at all. But then she came across like what she called and the relative called magic pill. So when she took the pill, so she feel better. She had the energy, and I was curious during her funeral during COVID time. During the lockdown, she could not attend to the hospital. Then she passed away during that time, and we attended her funeral, and everyone talked about her magic pill. Then I was wondering, so what was that magic pill? Then yeah, they brought out the box, and then I look at, oh, it's CELERGEN. They did not call the name of CELERGEN. They just called the magic pill. Then I took picture. I did the research. Then I reached out, and then Daphne, yeah, reached out to me back, and then explain about CELERGEN. Then me and my husband also started taking CELERGEN because our grandma took CELERGEN for around 10 years, and then she felt good energy, yeah, when she took the pill. Then we started taking CELERGEN as well. I had two surgery in 2024. Then like during 2 months, I gone through two big surgery, but I can recover very fast. And the doctor was also surprised that to see that I recover that fast. And my husband, he gained a lot of energy, vitality. So normally he felt very tired when he get up. He did not want to get up in the morning, but thanks to CELERGEN, so he can he had the energy to get up and work full day. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Langso. Okay. So when you talk about anti-aging, it's not just about beauty, looking more beautiful or looking younger. It's also regaining that vibrancy, regaining the energy and vitality. And likewise, I'm going to bring on another Cambodian who's going to share his story. And his story is very touching because, like many of us, when we learn of a good thing and, we feel that we can help somebody else, we would do that. So let me introduce you to this good friend of mine. Of course, unfortunately, today she cannot be here, but, she, kindly consented to share this story with all of you. Okay. Okay, his name is actually called Yu Tia, and I had a good fortunate chance to actually meet him a couple of times when I visited Cambodia. Okay, come, Yu Tia, take it away.
I want to share some of my history before I use CELERGEN. Actually, inside my body, before I use Avatar, I want to share some of my history before I use CELERGEN. Actually, inside my body, before I use Avatar, I also got diabetes. Yes, cannot sleep well because of toxic and like feeling stress of work, something like that. And the difficulty is I need to go to toilet 3 times per night. Yeah, and cannot sleep well. But after I use Avatar CELERGEN about 2 months, feel more better. Inside, I only myself to understand inside. Sure, it's a more energy, fresh feeling, sleep well, and I no need to go to toilet at night. Just only in the morning, wake up very quickly, powerful wake up and just go to toilet, take a bus and go to work, something like that. Yes, and most of my friends that close to me and my wife say that inside myself and see my face is more fresher than before. I start to change my beauty. Yeah, she said that they say that I feel fresh from inside, and like my skin, my face is feel not dry. Yeah, not dry. And what is surprised me more than this is my friend He had the disease. He did the surgery in Thailand, and he come back. He cannot walk. He cannot sleep well. You know, one night he go to toilet 10 or 12 times per night. He cannot sleep well. He's stressful, cannot sleep, and he feel hopeless because of he think that he cannot stay longer because he cannot walk. Yeah, he walk like this, he cannot walk. But after I support him to use avatar. Now the same is the duration the same is about 2 months. He got the result only 1 time per night. He go to toilet. Instead, I surprised when I just call to him to see the situation. 1 time per night. We use about 10 or 12 times per night. Now only 1 time per night. He also told me feel energy inside, feeling fresh. Yes, and he can walk more better than before. Yeah. So now very surprised. Maybe if he can walk well, very surprised and visit him soon. Yeah, I also meet him. Yeah, he stay in Kok Kong. Yeah, it's about more than 300 kilometers from Phnom Penh. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, bye.
All right. Well, thank you, Yutia. No, I was fortunate enough to be able to meet him after he has done this video. And by that time, he actually had visited his friend and he actually videoed his friend, walking and then, send a video to her and say, wow, my friend is walking right now. And I'm so touched, by this man with a big heart. He actually, even though when he learned about the goodness of CELERGEN himself, and he actually thought about his friend and he actually sponsored that for his friend, and also so fortunate because it really changed the friend was close to giving up hope because, despite the surgery in Thailand, they still couldn't recover his mobility. And, that's when, I would say that CELERGEN touches lives. Okay. And just like the next lady that I'm going to bring on to share. Okay. Sivan, are you around? Okay, come, let's bring on Sivan and then we can get Sivan to share. All right, that's Sivan.
Yeah.
Come, Sivan, why don't you share your wonderful story with us?
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. I just like to share about my father's 3 years ago, 3 years and a half, he was diagnosed with the lung inflammation and was treated, recovers, and later on he was not well again. And a year and a half ago, he was diagnosed with the port disease, which is the spinal tuberculosis. And I was so worried and scared. And then when the doctor told me that he have to go through the spinal surgery, and we immediately sent him for that operation. And after everything settled and he was recover from the surgery, I went to a health talk. Then it reminded me of the CELERGEN avatar that I have heard before in the previous year. Then I came back to search about it, and I finally decided to bring CELERGEN for my parents, not only my father's, but also for my mom. And later on, I also took it myself. And he took 2 pills daily, and there's was a very great news for us all, especially for me. During this Chinese New Year celebration, we had dinner, lunch and dinner together. And then he told me that, I think after taking, now he consumed 6 box of CELERGEN already. He said 10 or 20 more box, he will be able to walk again. So coming back to this, I like to share the very impressive story that he told me. After 3 box of CELERGEN, his going to his physiotherapist 2 to 3 times per week to train on standing, walking, and he always complained of leg pain and back pain during that time, and came back home, he was very exhausted the whole day, and sometimes he complained not want to do this training anymore, but we just encourage him. But after 3 box of CELERGEN, he said that not only himself feeling he regained his strength, and he not complaining about lower back pain and the leg pain. And his physiotherapist also asked him, wow, you uncle, you really gain more strength very quick in this recent week. And then this was really a very good news for us all, that he can regain his strength and his mobility, and he's hoping to be able to walk by himself very soon. That is what I'm grateful of CELERGEN, and the news that I heard from him during the Chinese New Year, it is really a very prosperous thing that happened to our family. Yeah, thanks for bringing this to us.
Wow,
Yes.
thank you, Sivan. Wow, most wonderful story. I was so touched, when Sivan shared that story, because for those of you who's not aware, POTS disease is a very serious form of tuberculosis, right? Very form of TB. Maybe some of us in the modern countries might not appreciate it, but recently there's been a big outbreak also in Malaysia on TB. And when the situations get very serious, as in like Sivan's dad, you actually have to undergo surgery, and this is when CELERGEN is very useful to helping people regain not just the energy but also in healing yourself very fast, and that's really one of the what we call the regenerative power of CELERGEN. Okay, all right, thank you, Sivan. That was wonderful. Now, what gives a lot of us assurance, right? Because especially when we are taking a product that's able to impact the cells, I always tell people, now there are a couple of things that you really need to watch out for. First is safety, right, of the thing, because if the thing can affect the cells, you want to be very careful about what you put into the body. So first, safety is of foremost, right? And one of the things that I'm glad with CELERGEN is that, the number of certification that it has and the fact that it is a Swiss product. Now, many of us know that the Swiss are well known for their strict quality and very strict safety. Okay, so these are just some of the certifications. In particular, if you look at the one on the top left, right, what it means is that that product is manufactured in Switzerland. And yes, it can also be sold in Switzerland. Okay, that's how prestigious it is. Okay, so in the Swiss, when we talk about Swiss, people always equate that to what? Both quality and of course safety, right? So that's why watches like Rolex are so priceless, because not just good quality, but they are of top-notch thing. Okay, now the other thing I'm also very glad to share with many of you is CELERGEN is approved for sale in China. Right now, a lot of people do not realize that it is not easy to bring a foreign manufactured product into China. In fact, when you want to bring it into China to sell, you need to undergo very rigorous testing. We actually had CELERGEN tested for almost 2-3 years, and they actually tested a couple of hundred boxes, and they actually ran tests using white mice to simulate what effect CELERGEN would have. And if you ever travel to China and you see CELERGEN on sale down there, go and read the box itself, and the box will actually tell you that oh, this product has been certified to restore vitality. This product has been also has the ability to boost your immune cells. Okay, and that's why we're very proud, because on the box that if we sell in China has what we call a blue hat logo, and that logo is very prestigious for any foreign product, because if we have it, it means that this product is legally approved for sale throughout China. And yes, I am happy to announce that CELERGEN is widely available in China. All right. Now, the other thing that's back up, CELERGEN, I would encourage you all can go and Google and so forth. It's the number of clinical studies that's being carried out on CELERGEN. Now, there are not many supplements out there, right? There are a lot of generic supplements, but there are not many supplements out there where you can read various papers of them testing out CELERGEN on various conditions, right? Including healing, including how the skin less wrinkles, how it restores energy and vitality, and all these are actually available on the Google. Now, I always tell people, even if today, no matter how credible I sound, right? Then give me that 5% trust. The remainder, go and Google after that, let CELERGEN convince you of the remainder 90 to 95%, right? So most people know that, when you have independent clinical studies backing it up, okay, this is really solid stuff, right? Now, today, if I'm talking about impacting cells, okay, I have to talk about cancer. Especially when CELERGEN was first launched back then, right? We had the thought that, hey, if CELERGEN is so good for cells, right? Then what happened to cancer patients who take it? Won't it help the cancer cells grow faster and so forth? So many of us have that same idea. But when CELERGEN was launched, and then, when we had cancer patients taking, we were observing that, oh, these people actually were reacting very positively to it. Then so what happened is, Avita as a company, we decided to commission a study, right? We want to study just why is that, when people with cancer take CELERGEN, is so useful for them, right? So now what we did was, the study that was done. Now this study, if you are one of those techie who love to read stuff, is actually widely available on the internet. So we actually conducted tests against two sort of cancer cells. One is liver cancer cell, which many people know is also very virulent, and of course pancreatic cancer cells. And these two type of cancer are some of the very what we call the highly invasive type of cancer. Now, so I'm just going to summarize it all to the gist of what did the studies actually show. Okay. Now, the first thing that you want to know that if you are taking a supplement that is for a cancer patient, you want to be assured yourself that the product or whatever it is does not have any hormones. Those hormones may actually impact the cancer cells in a very negative way. And what assures us for CELERGEN is really this very prestigious cert called the BSCG cert. A BSCG cert is a Banned Substance Control Group certification. Now, for any athletes, who are taking part in competitive sports and so forth, whatever they take, they got to be very careful because they will undergo drug testing and so forth. So they would want to assure that the products that they take do not have drugs, do not have hormones and so forth, right? So when you have a BSCG certification on the product itself, it basically means that number one is the product has been certified. There's no banned substance in it. There's no drugs, there's no hormones, there's no things like steroids and so forth. Now, which is good news, right? Although we are all not Olympic athletes, but then, if, you are a cancer patient, you are taking CELERGEN, you are assured that, CELERGEN does not contain anything that actually may aggravate your cancer condition. Okay, so the BSCG cert is important because of what it means. Now, during the CELERGEN lab studies, this is actually what the study showed, right? Very interesting. We realized that in the presence of CELERGEN, in the lab when we were studying it, they realized that actually the liver cancer cells were being slowed down from multiplying. Now, you all know that when cancers get very aggressive, they will just keep on multiplying and basically try to overcome all the normal cells, right? So we realized that in the presence of CELERGEN, it actually slows down the growth of cancer cells now, which is very good news for those people who are undergoing treatment because it gives your body a fighting chance. Now, more interesting that what CELERGEN does, it makes your cells remember what they should be behaving. Now, there's a process called apoptosis, which the body undergoes. Our body are very smart, right? All of us, all of us have cancer cells in our body, but our cancer cells don't manifest itself because of what? Because of this process called apoptosis. When the cell senses that it's abnormal, then it actually triggers a process to self-destruct. Okay, and that's why that keeps us from triggering cancer cells. So you can think about cancer cells are like cells which has forgotten how to die, like they've forgotten the process of apoptosis. And what we realized that while in the presence of CELERGEN, it actually kind of wakes up the cells and make them remember how they should be behaving. Okay, and that's important. Now, the other thing is, it actually makes a certain gene, less active. And when it makes this one we call the CMYC oncogene cells less active, it helps to slow down the spread of your cancer. Again, giving your body a good fighting chance, to battle it out. And then, of course, this is important. CELERGEN has that ability to protect your healthy cells against radiation. Now, most of you will know that cancer treatment is very harsh, right? It's literally a nuclear warfare that they go in and try to bomb out all the cancer cells. But in the process, this radiation actually affects a lot of your healthy cells. And in the process of affecting a healthy cell, that's why you find a cell, your immune system is affected, you are low in energy, you suffer a lot of the side effects of this treatment. And the good thing with CELERGEN is it protects all these healthy cells. And when it protects all these healthy cells against radiation, wow, the people who take it, they will actually feel that, hey, they are still able to perform, at their normal level. Okay, and I saw one of these person is my good friend Edmund from KL. I will actually bring him on and let him share that story. Okay, Edmund, take it away.
My name is Edmund. I'm from KL in Malaysia. I'm 57 years old plus, and I'm a colorectal cancer patient. I detected my colon cancer last year sometime in June when I went through health screening. The tumor was classified as stage 3 colorectal cancer. And prior to the surgery, because I've heard many things about taking CELERGEN and how the recovery is, I took, for 2 days before the surgery, I took 6 CELERGEN capsules for 2 consecutive days before the surgery. And after the surgery, the recovery was actually quite fast. And the first day after the surgery, I was able to stand up, did slow walk. And by the 3rd day, I was eating and walking. And by the 5th day, the doctor said that I could go home. So the doctor suggested I go through a round of chemotherapy, 8 sessions of chemotherapy, which I went through. All this while during the chemotherapy, for all 8 sessions over the 6 months, I continued taking 3 tablets of CELERGEN, and basically that helped me through my chemo. And during the course of my chemo, the oncologist doctor will always ask me how am I feeling, and said I'm looking well for a cancer patient, because instead of losing weight, I put on weight. Instead of feeling nausea, the normal thing of feeling nausea and not being able to eat, my blood tests and everything showed that I had very good red blood counts, white blood counts and everything. And basically my 8 sessions of chemotherapy went very smoothly. I put on weight between the start and the end. And also I went through 4 doses of radiotherapy of radiation just after Chinese New Year recently, for 4 days, 4 continuous days. And basically I finished that, and 8 weeks later, hopefully, and the PET scan that I'll do again after that, we should I'm cleared of cancer, hopefully. I would say that it actually helped me maintain my energy. I work in the construction industry. I'm a property developer. I walk through the site. My consultants are actually surprised that I can even climb up the stairs, walk around the site and look around, go on site walks with them. So it gives me the energy, keeps me alert, and basically keeps me feeling normal, basically. Whenever they ask me how I'm feeling, I'm feeling quite normal. Right? And hopefully this will help other cancer patients to understand, or not only cancer patients, I think those who are undergoing surgery. I had a quite major surgery. I didn't go through a laparoscopy surgery. I had an open surgery. They did basically almost a 10-inch incision down the center of my body, basically to remove it. And the healing was very quickly. I was able to get back on my feet very quickly, and basically the recovery has been very good. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Edmund. Yeah, in fact, here, I would actually want to bring on a very good friend because I actually realized she is here today. Can I bring on Christine? Christine, why do I invite you to share your story with the many people here? I'm sure your story will be also very inspiring. Christine, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Oh, all
Can you
right.
hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Christine.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm a
Christine,
bit
why don't you share
nasal.
your wonderful
Yeah.
story with us?
Okay. I'm a bit nasal because I still have a bug. So anyway, Jennifer, I see your heart. Hello. A shout out to Jennifer who's in the Zoom. Okay, my story. About a year ago, slightly more than a year ago, during what I thought was a routine health check, I was suddenly told that I had not one but two primary cancers. So actually, with no symptoms at all, that news was quite shocking and quite numbing. Surgery was actually arranged quite immediately, and it lasted 8 hours with two surgical teams working together. I cannot imagine how that is in the OT, but anyway, even the blood bank was on standby because one of my tumors was very near my heart. So, against all expectations, I actually recovered far faster than anyone predicted. So I was out of the ICU after one day. I was walking by day 3 and actually discharged by day 5 because I could independently go to the toilet and wash my hair. So I thought, okay, doctors, I think I'm ready to go home. So the doctors were actually all really astounded because they thought I may need 2 full weeks, right? Since I have simultaneous surgeries at the same time. So chemo came next, and although I have some nausea in the first few days after each session, my blood work stayed strong and stable. My bone density test was awesome. And actually, I received the best news of all after about 4 sessions of chemo, when the doctors, my oncologist suspended my chemo because they couldn't find any cancer activity. So 2 PET scans later, I still am free of cancer cell activity, and my last PET scan was only last month. So I truly believe that my remarkable recovery regime was well supported by CELERGEN. And of course, for that, I'm very grateful.
Wow,
And
thank you,
my
Christine. And
vitality is there. Yeah.
Oh, well, lots of hearts to you, okay? So, Christine, would you highly recommend that, somebody who's undergoing cancer treatment to consider, CELERGEN to aid them in their recovery, based off
Yes,
your
I would.
experiences? Yeah.
Yes, I would. I mean, like, I personally never thought I would recover so fast. I, in fact, packed a whole suitcase to spend my time in the hospital for 2 weeks. Before I know it, I'm out and said I haven't touched a single thing in the suitcase. And that's
Wow.
yeah, so I think everyone who heard what I have to say was pretty amazed,
Yeah.
by my recovery.
Yeah. And just from my knowledge, how many were you taking per day at that time when you were undergoing treatment?
Okay, so my diagnosis was in late 2024. I have been taking CELERGEN since 2023, but once I knew I was going to surgery, excuse me, I took 4. I up to 4 a day
okay.
leading into surgery, and throughout my chemo, I took 4. I'm still taking because I have this scanxiety, right? Each time I have to do a scan. So I'm just doing it on a maintenance mode. So yeah, so that's my capsules. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I think, Christy, I'm sure your story will inspire many people this evening. Thank you so much for consenting to appear on that. Okay, great. All right.
Okay.
Let me get back to the point. Okay. Just move on. Now, I would say that doctors love CELERGEN. Okay, and this is one of the the person that well, you see us appearing on the cover of time. This is actually, let me introduce you to my good friend Dr. Lucero. Okay, and this is what Dr. Lucero has to say about CELERGEN, and the story of how Dr. Lucero chanced upon CELERGEN is also a very interesting story. Okay, Dr. Lucero first heard of CELERGEN during a aesthetic conference. Yeah, Dr. Lucero himself is very famous or very well known in Philippines. In fact, if you are, who's who in the Philippines, and if you are looking for a doctor to, for aesthetic surgery, that is the person you will look for. In fact, he's actually known as like the godfather of plastic surgery in Philippines because he was one of the very first few pioneering people who actually, specialized in aesthetic surgery. Right. So what happened was that Dr. Lucero attending a conference in China heard about CELERGEN, right? And then, after that, he went for a recreational day, and he happened to chance upon a Singapore teacher turned wellness teacher, okay, in China. And he was admiring the complexion and the vitality of the person. He happened to ask her, and she also happened to mention CELERGEN, and that was what triggered his curiosity. He did his own research, and then he found that, oh, CELERGEN was actually sold in Singapore. So what happened was he started bringing in CELERGEN first to test on himself, okay? And what he found was that, besides giving energy and vitality, it was helping him to improve a couple of his health markers. And he was pretty intrigued, kudos to him, now I know why he's so well known. He actually started, after doing all his due diligence to research, he started actually testing CELERGEN on his patients. And what he found was that many of his patients who were undergoing surgery were actually recovering faster. They were actually, less scarring. And more amazing to him was that, they were actually feeling better. I always remember he has that tagline they always use, right? He said, under my hands, okay, if you are 60 years old, I can make you look like 40 years old again. But hey, I can never make you feel like 40 years old again. And here's my last secret to you. And it's called CELERGEN. And CELERGEN was what gave all his patients after their surgery, their regained vitality. So it's not just a matter of looking young. You must also feel young and, have that vibrancy and energy to enjoy life to its fullest. And that's the reason why Dr. Lucero is such a big advocate of CELERGEN. Go look him up, in the internet and so forth. He's done a couple of interviews with media or newspapers where he will actually share about, why he believes so passionately that, CELERGEN will actually, be the last piece that give you that, energy and health even as you age. And I must give credit to him at this age right now, he still has the ability to do surgery. And for somebody who is rich, in his closing to his 80s, to be able to still do that is simply amazing. Okay. Now, across our many years, okay, Saturday is 17 years old, so it's really been there, tested out in the market, and we just have so many testimonials, okay, against all sorts of health conditions, from looking young to helping people have babies to, magic pill, cancer, even people with dialysis, taking away people with arthritis, just name them. We have so many. So, do check with a friend who's share with you, today's talk. If I'm going to start talking about all these stories, I think, I can talk for 3 days and 3 nights because, there's just so many wonderful stories. Okay. So, yes, we have used CELERGEN to help with many different health conditions. And that's why we are so passionate. Okay, I always call myself I'm a CELERGEN evangelist. Okay, yeah. So where is CELERGEN from? Okay, CELERGEN is actually from Avita. Okay, and Avita is actually a Singapore wellness company. We are founded way back in 2007. So you guess right now, we've been around for a long time, and we actually specialize in preventive wellness and anti-aging solution, very niche. Okay, and how we bring these products to our market is really through what we call network marketing, word of mouth. Okay, is people like myself, will share the goodness and so forth. And right now we are across 10 countries in Asia, so you can just see some of the name and all the countries down here. And we are very passionate because it's really thanks to this lady called Miss Lee Xiangying. We always call her Miss Lee. She has this motto that I think all of us at Avita live up to. Life is a gift. Never take it for granted. And indeed, life is so precious. And I know that sometimes when people get into such a bad health condition that they actually wish that they could go faster. And I think Avita across the last 17, 18 years of its existence has turned so many lives around, right? Letting people appreciate life again, saving many a life, letting people have that quality of life, right? And that to me epitomizes what really anti-aging is all about. It's not just about looking beauty, looking younger, but it's about feeling younger, living younger, and have the energy to do what you want to. And that is really the true essence of anti-aging. Okay. Now, we are right now found in all these countries, but beyond these countries, yes, if you are in Europe, Middle East, or even America, yes, you can find CELERGEN, but probably through a different marketing platform. Okay, so in Asia, Pacific, we are in all these countries, and we actually have a wide distributor network. Okay, yes, and in Cambodia, we do have our network extended all the way out to there yet. Okay, so let's come to the gist right now. How do you take CELERGEN? Okay, now a little bit of science. Different parts of our bodies will actually have take different periods to re-replicate themselves, right? For example, you'll find that things like your nails and your hair, they actually tend to grow very fast. Things like your stomach cells, probably take 5 days to regenerate themselves. Your skin about a month, blood and DNA itself. Look at DNA, right? About 2 months when you kind of like have a change. So I always share with people, a good way to take CELERGEN is to give it a good 3 months to heal your body. Okay, very simple, right? For the first 3 months, our recommendation is you consume 2 soft gels of CELERGEN daily. Now, this is why, because typically most people have been putting their body through very bad shape. Okay, whether through it intentionally or unintentionally, a lot of time is due to stress, lifestyle, and so forth. So their bodies, if you have not been taking care of it, do need quite a fair bit of repair. So give yourself a good chance. Take 2 soft gels of CELERGEN daily, and that will actually speed up the your body's healing. Now, CELERGEN is always taken on an empty stomach. Why is that so? Because we actually want it, it's easy enough. When you wake up first thing in the morning, just take it in, and then, half an hour later, life goes back to what I call normal. Okay. Now, remember, CELERGEN is not meant to be digested in the stomach. It will pass through the stomach and then gets all the way to the small intestine. That's where it disperses itself, and then all the cellular nutrients will get into the bloodstream and throughout the whole body. Now, I would say give yourself 1 healing cycle. So 3 months is a good period, right? 3 months is a good period where you let your body kind of undergo 1 whole round of change. Whether you feel in energy, vitality, looks, and so forth, your body will tell you that, that is working. Yeah. Now, for some of you who say that, hey, if I'm on CELERGEN, what about all my other supplements? Okay, my advice to them, you can choose to kind of stop your supplements for that short period while you're evaluating. Just evaluate CELERGEN on its own. In fact, typically after the assessment period, or many of my customers, or most of my customers, they will just go with CELERGEN on its own. They kind of stop a lot of their other supplements, because when you go down to a cellular level to be able to repair your body at that level, is actually very powerful, and actually does a lot of the benefits. Okay, that's why many of my customers appreciate the easiness, okay, of taking CELERGEN. Okay, instead of taking a whole cocktail of it, all they need is one or two capsules, and that's it. Okay, and drink lots and lots of water, especially because your cells, usually 70-80% of it is made out of water. And during the process of repairing themselves in the first initial months, your cells will require a lot of water, to undergo the process. So if you don't drink enough water, you might find yourself feeling a little heady. Okay. Now, this is something that I always tell people, right? A lot of time we expect instant results, okay? And we don't understand that, it takes us a long time for our body to get to where, it starts to tell you that, hey, you have been kind of neglecting me. So don't expect a miracle pill. It's not something that you pop in and then tomorrow you'll feel like all well again. So allow yourself a good 3 months, let your body, let your body tell you. I always tell people CELERGEN talks, okay? And, allow it sufficient time. And then, that will then allow your body to feel it. Okay. Now, I would say that some of the things that you may feel, in a shorter time, energy, vitality, better sleep. Now, those are some of the effects lah. I would say some of the effects that you will start feeling, and then that CELERGEN is actually working. Okay. Again, feel free to check with a friend who's kind of invited you, and then find out how to get started. Okay. Now, typically we market our CELERGEN in a couple of promotion packets, right? If you're just by yourself and you're wanting to evaluate CELERGEN, you can start with the starter pack. Remember, each box comes with 30 caps, and so a 6-box starter pack, is good evaluation pack for a period of 3 months. Okay, so you can, after that 3 months, and then let your body feel how it is. Okay, now if you and your wife decided they want to start CELERGEN together, then I would recommend that you can consider taking the annual pack. We do sell the annual pack where, of course, it is cheaper than the starter pack, the annual pack. So you can check with a friend. And of course, if your family is big, and for those who are looking to get the best value for money, then the family pack is something you want to kind of look at. Okay, like for my family and myself, we typically go on family packs because many members of my family are taking, including myself, my wife, even my younger boy who is already in his 16, 17 years old. Okay, so this would be the CELERGEN value pack. Feel free to check with a friend who's kind of invited you to tonight's talk. Okay. Now, to end it off, I know this is what I would like to encourage. The fact that you are here today is because one of your friends who cares about your health, right, care to actually share and invite you to this talk. And my sincere hope is every one of you gain something from tonight's talk. Okay. And know that, I would say that, give thanks to your friend who's invited you to the talk tonight. And that's because they actually care about you. So my wish for each and every one of you, make 2026 the year when you start being CELERGIZed. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand it back over to my host. And we'll spend the next 14 or 15 minutes, answering questions. And feel free to check your questions. So this is what we call the Q&A section. I think we still have a bit of time, so we'll spend about maybe the 10 minutes, answering some questions, or you have some questions you want to ask us. Now, feel free to also type into the chat box. If it's not convenient to unmute yourself, and bring Joel on. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kate, for the wonderful talks about CELERGEN. So we are now answering any questions. So any questions?
Okay, we do have a question down there. That's
Yeah, there are
okay.
some questions coming from chat group. First is, does CELERGEN work for joint pain? I think this is a good question also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I would say that joint pain is one of those that many people really appreciate taking CELERGEN with. Okay, first, CELERGEN has very strong anti-inflammatory properties. Okay, and they've done many tests of CELERGEN against osteoarthritis. So some people who know that osteoarthritis is like a very early form of an autoimmune condition, right? Where then, the joints are constantly inflamed. And many of them have found relief that, after a couple of months of taking CELERGEN, the pain decreases. And more important, it helps to repair some of the, the joint problem. Again, feel free to go Google it up. There are clinical studies about CELERGEN being used by people to help relief of their knee pain. And I highly recommend it. I personally have many friends who actually have had their knee pain problems being resolved from them taking CELERGEN. Okay. Joel, any other questions?
Yeah,
I
and
saw
there's
this
one.
one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
Julie Tan, what about someone having CKD stage 5? Will it help? That means it's chronic kidney disease.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
I would say that, just remember Edmund just now. Okay, so there are two stages. One is, of course, I would say talk about patients who are already, the function is gone and you have to undergo dialysis, okay? In which case, I would say that CELERGEN is very useful for people just after dialysis, right? To help them regain their energy and vitality. In fact, just now when you saw Edmund, Edmund's wife, Chris, is actually a dialysis patient. Okay, and she did share.
Kate, Chris Kong is actually in the chat.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
hi, Chris. Why don't I invite Chris to talk about? Okay, hi,
Yes.
Chris. Are you able to unmute yourself and share your story? Hi, Chris. Can somebody bring Chris on?
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah,
Oh,
hi.
so nice to see you. Come, Chris. Why don't you share your story with everybody?
Okay. Well, I'm a dialysis patient for nearly about 13 years now, and I was recommended CELERGEN in 2021 by my daughter, and I took it as a supplement just like that every day, diligently take one, but I never noticed anything until one day I noticed, oh, okay, my blood tests, all my blood tests, they were very good. I never had any problems with the doctors, and I never had any in and out of hospitals again. That's the best part, because I was always in and out of the hospital before that. So then, yeah, and then I so now I just take every day. I just take one CELERGEN as a just to continue on, because it helps me, giving me a lot of energy. Whether I take it before or after, it doesn't matter, because it actually stays in the body. It doesn't get washed off, and the even when I take it before, then after I still feel very active. Even during dialysis, I feel very active also, and the nurses always complain I cannot sit still. So yeah, they always complain you are moving too much. You can't sit still. Well, because I'm very active, and I'm the only one active there, and everyone else is sleeping during dialysis. So yeah, I have this problem during dialysis. So other than that, after dialysis, I still have to drive home. So I need basically I need the 精神 to go and drive home.
Energy lah.
Yeah.
The energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how it helps me lah. Yeah.
Chris, I believe it also has helped you with your heart markers, right? I remember you sharing very early on that.
Actually, when I was first diagnosed with end-stage renal failure, my heart was only at 30% at that time, because when our kidney fails, we do not get blood supply. The kidney is supposed to give the blood to the heart, but since that it failed, so there's no supply to the heart. So my heart was not at its regular, it was only at 30%. But after consuming the CELERGEN, right now I'm discharged from the heart clinic. So it basically it helps build up everything back in the body. Yeah.
Okay. I think we did get a question. So yeah, Julie, I think, I mean, you have heard from Chris lah. I mean, you can actually consider them, trying out CELERGEN on your mom and see how she feels. Okay. I did see that down there that your mom says that, she doesn't want to, go for dialysis. But I think, you do what you need to do to help, but, you can, of course, consider, try out CELERGEN on her and then see how she actually feels about it, lah. Of course, if you want to, we can always put you in contact with Chris, and then Chris can always share more of her experience with you. Right. Thank you, Chris. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's some
Yeah.
question.
So there is one more question coming from Dawn. Can colon cancer patient take CELERGEN? My colleague mom has just completed radiation due to her stage 4 colon
Yeah.
cancer.
Of
Yeah.
course. I think Edmund actually was the one who has colorectal cancer.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think the thing is, the CELERGEN will definitely help her as she undergoes her her chemotherapy, right? It will give her the energy, it will also help to protect her her normal cells, and she would feel so much better for me. In fact, that's actually the most common feedback that we get from friends that we have helped with cancer, that they say they're still able to function normally, despite the very harsh chemo treatment that they undergo. Lah. Oh, okay.
There's another question from Venus.
Yeah,
Venus, okay. Venus says, drink coffee after terminus of your slowdown. Okay, my typical guideline would be this, okay? When you first take CELERGEN in the early morning on an empty stomach, right? Half an hour later, life goes back to normal. Okay, within that 30 minutes of no empty stomach and so forth, your CELERGEN should have gone down all the way to the small intestine, disperses, and all the nutrients have gone into the bloodstream. So even whether you're taking coffee, taking medication, and so forth, I always say leave yourself about half an hour to maybe an hour gap. Before then you go back to just life as per normal. And that's why many people appreciate it. Even for myself, when I wake up, I will pop it in, and I will go and bathe and everything else. Half an hour later, right, I will take my breakfast. So typically, that's how I would actually, take myself. And I think Alvin also has added, she always drink his coffee or tea during breakfast 20 minutes after the soft gel. Okay.
She's asking about any case or testimonial that CELERGEN
Yeah.
able
Okay.
increase the eyesight.
I would say
But,
that. I would say
can I
that.
share my personal
Oh yeah, sure,
experience?
Jermaine, go ahead.
Yeah,
I think now the
because
more people should.
I also have, because due to the workload, previously I was an accountant, so we are looking at the data a lot of times. That's why my eyes suddenly have a lot of floater. For that was then that I was so afraid, because I don't know what is floater and why is it there's so many, all the whatever small black dots coming out. Then when I go for the check on the eye center to check, there's nothing happen, and the doctor say you're quite okay, you're safe. So but when I learn about CELERGEN, it actually after I've taken for 1 month, I just suddenly find that, how come every morning when I wake up, I don't see anything floating around my eyes, Then suddenly, and then when I go for checkup of my eyesight, when I'm going to make a new spec, then this optician told me that, hey, Jermaine, your eyesight is better now, it keep on decreasing for the short-sighted, and of course the long-sighted coming a bit, but it actually from 700 reduced to 500 plus. So that is a good news that I didn't know that after taking CELERGEN, it really helped on all this. So I would say that this is a happy side effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that makes CELERGEN effective is because it actually has lutein, right, which is actually synergistically blended in together with it. Okay. It also has a very positive on people who have cataract, when they feel that the eyes are like under very heavy pressure. So we have had some of our our customers come back to us and say that CELERGEN does help them to relieve the pressure on the eyes. Now, for those who have some people might ask, what about things like retinal detachment? Retinal is basically a condition where your cornea has actually starting to get detached, and that's a very very serious condition. Doctors will quickly want to patch it back, and I've had a few friends who had that. I actually recommend them to take CELERGEN to help them to speed up their recovery. So remember, anything that to do with injury, to do with healing or surgery recovery, then that's where CELERGEN works its best at helping you to speed up your recovery condition. Okay. Let me see. Are there any more questions? Okay, I did see that. I think Manu was asking, Michelle was asking, like, okay, so I would say that, for those of you who are interested, do check with a friend who's introduced you to this talk. I'm sure they'll be able to, discuss with you and recommend you the best option possible for your consideration, okay? And of course, in different countries, the different countries do have slightly different prices. So do check directly with a friend who's introduced you to the thing, okay?
Yep.
Any testimonial increase eyesight? Yeah, like you say, because it has lutein, many people find that after they have taken it, their eye condition to improve. But do remember, conditions vary person from person, right? And then the way the CELERGEN goes about, it tends to treat the most serious condition first. But taken in a sufficiently long enough time, eventually you will discover different parts of your body improving, like improving progressively, be it the knees, be it the eyes, or whatsoever. So we do have many cases of where people have reported this type of progress. So that's why when you keep on taking CELERGEN year after year, you will just keep on repairing your body, at different parts of the body and so forth. That's why I always think that CELERGEN is a must for everyone out there, because your body needs constant repair. Okay.
Someone is asking for the price. Maybe
Yeah, I've already asked them to check with the friend who's actually check with the friend who's recommending them to the top, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think Alvin has also shared in the chat group, where you can actually read more testimonials. We do have a Avita website that we've kind of compiled all this. So by all means, if you cannot find what you want to, please feel free to check with a friend. Is Marjoy still around? Because I know Marjoy do have very good sharing. I mean, I must bring Marjoy. Are you around? Hi, Marjoy.
Hello.
Hi, Marjoy. Why don't you share your own story and experiences? I know you have a wonderful, wonderful story that you can share with many people. Shall we bring Marjoy on? Hi, Marjoy. So
Hello,
nice
thank
to meet
you.
you.
Nice to
Come, why
meet
don't you
you.
share your own experiences about it, and then I think many people will benefit from your story. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I am Joy Wang. Our experience with CELERGEN actually started when my dad diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer with bone metastasis and lumbar tumor. So it was
Wow.
happened during Lenten season of 2023. He was actually bedridden from January 2023 up to October 2023. But then actually Attorney Jonna introduced to me CELERGEN around April. But then my dad started to take CELERGEN around mid-May of 2023. By then it was the first time that my dad experienced to have a deep sleep and lesser pain due to cancer. So it was actually it was a tough battle actually. But then with the power of CELERGEN, he was able to undergo chemotherapy with no side effects. He was not able to lose his hair. His nails still pink. He doesn't lose his appetite. And at the same time, the good thing about those about him taking CELERGEN is that he was able to walk with me during my wedding in 2022. Was able to started. He was able to stand by November of 2023 of November. Then from then he was able to walk slowly, which is we think of it as a blessing and a best help from CELERGEN, because actually the doctor already told us that he might not be able to walk again.
Wow.
And the other good thing is that we are actually given just less than a year for him to survive, but it took him because of CELERGEN, my dad extended another 2 years, and the 2 years was a very fruitful one. We have celebrated 2 more Christmas days, 2 more birthdays, anniversaries, and he was able to see his grandchild and heal his grandchild one last moment. We are able to celebrate gatherings with families, and the best of it is that's why I mentioned earlier. He was able to celebrate with my husband. He was able to celebrate with us, to celebrate our love with our family.
Wow. Thank you, Marjoy, for the wonderful story. I mean, it really touches my heart. And I'm so glad, CELERGEN has been able to bring joy to so many people. So it's these little touches that, why it makes, myself and my partner so passionate about sharing it to everybody. And I'm sure, Marjoy, you are passionately sharing it out to many people too. Okay. Thank you, Marjoy, for consenting to appear and tell your story. Okay, and for those of you who would like to watch the full story, the link is actually inside the chat. Feel free to go ahead. And I think we have time for one last question. Does anybody want to unmute yourself or just type it in the chat group? Right? Any last questions? Okay, I think we don't have any more questions. Okay, thank you so much. And I'll hand it back over to Joel to wrap it up. Joel, take it away. Thank you so much for being my host.
Well, thank you so much, Kid, for the enlightening talk tonight. Your insight on the quest for joyful vitality and the revolutionary benefit of CELERGEN truly captivated us, no? You've illustrated that while many dream of a magical solution for aging, we can access remarkable anti-aging and health benefit from the comfort of our own home. Your explanation of CELERGEN as the Swiss fountain of youth clarified its effectiveness and tailored it to our everyday life. It's comforting to know that we embrace aging gracefully while still looking and feeling rejuvenated. I know for those new friends who joined first time in CELERGEN Talk are excited to explore how they can integrate CELERGEN into their lives. A heartfelt thank you to Avita for bringing CELERGEN to us at a fraction of the cost. Have you seen incredible advantage we're gaining? I invite all our new friends joining this discussion to take the first step and connect with the person who introduced you and learn how you can start on this exciting journey. Yeah, so thank you once again. Thank you. Yeah.
Shall we take a group photo? Yeah, let's have
Photo.
everybody turn on their screen and yes, it's still Chinese New Year. So everybody just turn on their screen. I will invite our photographer, Elvin. Elvin, would you consent to use your old-fashioned family camera and take photo of all of us?
Sure.
How can everybody just turn on your video and say hello?
Right, everybody turn on your video and I'll count down to 3. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. It's taken.
Thank
Hi,
you so
Tom.
much.
Good to see you here.
Hi, Tom. All right. Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Kid. Thank you, Alvin.
Thank you, Kit.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Joey.